Hello, this is Ben at Fitness Beyond 50, and this segment is about how to survive a bipolar attempted suicide. And I'm going to talk about it from the point of view of someone being bipolar, being me, and also from the side of someone else looking in, a spouse, a friend, a family member. Just so you know, when you're bipolar and you have a suicide attempt and you survive it, the guilt is overwhelming. A lot of times you're mad. At least I was very mad because I was not successful. So understand that, family member and friends, that we're so down on ourselves, and we understand that even though it's an illness, sometimes it can come off as being selfish. We understand that it can affect a lot of people. But what I'm going to say here now will make a lot of sense. When a suicide attempt happens, it's impulsive as a bipolar person. When I was younger and was going through some suicide before I was diagnosed, a lot of times they would ask me, do you have a plan? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to drink some alcohol and pills, or I'm going to do this. And sometimes, if you cut your wrist sometimes in the beginning, that's a cry for help. It's like okay, to me that's kind of like bipolar light or depression light, because you're asking for help because you're not there. But I want to say again, when you truly have a bipolar disorder, it's going to be an impulsive thing. It's like, so if I have a gun and the voices and the pain and I'm so tired, I'm just going to pull that trigger, be done. Okay? If I'm going to I'm going to stab myself, I'm going to be done. Or I'm going to jump out of the third story window like I've done before and be done. So what I'm saying is, it's not something that we're going to plan out. There's not going to be a note. We're not going to tell anybody. It's just going to be impulsive. And when I've survived some of those things, the guilt was so overwhelming, and then you also feel like people are judging you, or the people around you are looking at you differently. Remember, we're not fragile pieces of crystal glass. We're people who have an illness that causes us to do certain things. For example, this week I've been in my manic phase or mania phase. Oh my goodness, just like today, I worked my jobs, came home, I mowed the lawn, I did the laundry, I cooked. And what I'm saying is, but when those highs are high, you can do anything and you're feeling good. But I want to interject, when you're bipolar and you do something for someone and they downplay it, that adds to our depression. That makes us feel like, why the fuck do I even need to be here? Because all I try to do is make other people happy. I like to make other people happy. And I know some people are watching this saying, well, you're supposed to make yourself happy. But the way I grew up and the things I didn't get, I internalized those things, and now I try to. I've always been a rescuer. I've always been a person who wants to help and love other people, and I feel like if I help and love other people, then they would be in my life and never go anywhere. Well, it doesn't work like that. I had so many people that use my illness against me and took advantage of that, or they used my past against me when I acted out and did things that got myself in trouble and things of that nature. Those are the things they remember. They don't understand that I take those things and I pack those things away, and those just add to my depression. But just remember, if we do something for you, I don't even know, maybe I cook this elaborate dinner and then you come home and you say, you didn't have to do that. Well, if you say that, that's going to make me think, what the fuck? Why should I even be here? Every time I try to do something to show you that I care, or it helps me even with my bipolar disorder because I'm being active, and you downplay it, all that does is make me think, what's the use? Also, if you're the spouse or a friend or a family member, somebody that's bipolar, you know what? Yes, we won't like being abandoned, but it's understandable. If we're in a state of bipolarness, for the lack of another word, where it's just episode after episode after episode, I don't even know if Job could handle that. Okay, so to understand that, but also understand that we understand that. So that's why a lot of times we're going to isolate, we're going to pull the blinds, we're going to feel like we're going to have this impending doom. We're going to feel like, why even be here? Because we are a burden to people. And that's really the last thing we want to do. For example, I hear frequencies, and I'll say even to my spouse, I say, hey, do you hear that? Do you hear that? And and you're like, no, I don't hear it. But these frequencies can get so loud in my head that I will try to put earbuds in or try to watch TV, anything to try to distract it. Those are the times that I feel like I want to get off the ride. And I just want you to know a lot of bipolar people will feel that. Even if you have people that are supportive, you have a good job, you have a good family, you have all these things that seem to be in order, don't take it personal that the bipolar person doesn't seem to get that or grasp that. It could be something from the childhood. It could be their head was hit so many times. I mean, I boxed, I had to fight a lot, went through a lot of abuse. I don't know. All I can tell you is that I go through periods of time where I just want to get off the ride, even when things seem like they're going good. And especially if somebody on the outside is looking in, know that bipolar people are very good at hiding things. We're very good at making things look normal because we don't want to be that burden. We don't want you to look at us differently. We want you to treat us just like you would treat someone else. Because when you try to treat us like we're fragile, that we can't do anything, that just adds to the disorder. I know it seems like an oxymoron, but it adds to the disorder. So don't try to handle a person with bipolar with kid gloves. Treat them like you would treat anybody else. It's very important to do that. But it's also important to understand that when they do something for you, if it's no more than taking the trash out of your car, don't say, well, you didn't need to do that. Okay? When they do something for you, it is of the utmost importance because they're fighting this illness, or I'm fighting the illness, and I'm trying to show you that I still care about you because I know that any moment I could spiral down into that dark, dark abyss and with no return. And once again, just remember, the suicide is going to be impulsive. There's not going to be a note. There's not going to be a warning like it is in just certain depression. There's not going to be. It's just going to happen. And I'll be honest with you, after a few suicide attempts that I survived, where I survived, there was times that I felt like, dang, I was like I said, I was mad that I didn't succeed, but at the same time, there was moments where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm here because I wouldn't have been able to say, open the door for the older person that needed to get into the store, or some kid that I see in the store and they're waving to me saying hi. So we have to remember there's these wonderful things here on this earthly realm that are important, and we have to remember that we're important to ourselves and we're important to other people, and realize that we affect a lot of different people if we were to take ourselves out. But I wanted to do this video to let you know that we do feel guilt. We do bargain every day with just getting up. Sometimes just getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom is a chore. There's excitement sometimes, like I'll think, okay, at work today I get to do this. I have to really boost myself up and psych myself out, so to speak, in order to accomplish goals. And there are going to be a lot of people who are seeing this go, well, you've been a business owner for years and you've done this and you have, yes, I have 2 degrees and I have this and I have that. But most of those things, I'll be honest with you, don't really mean anything to me because I was a victim of circumstance. I was put in a situation where I didn't have any family, didn't have any backup or anything like that. So I use education as a way out, as a coping skill. And still, there's a lot of us that have student loans or degrees, and guess what? They're collecting dust. Now, I can collect dust over here, and I still owe on them. But I just want you to know that after we have a suicide attempt, please do not just try to treat us like we're children. That is going to not work out well. Yes, there's medications out there, and I have heard for years, stay on your medication, stay on your medication. In order for medication to be effective for me, I would have to sit here drooling on myself, crapping on myself, peeing on myself in order for it to be effective. I have been non-resistant to medication for years. I've got, they give me an ECT, electroconvulsive therapy. The first 4 or 5 treatments will work, and after that, it just does not. So for me, it's exercise, it's prayer, it's just dealing with this disorder by by second deal. I mean, and that's it. It's second by second. I know at any given moment I could kill myself. I know that. I know it. Do I want to? No. But a lot of times I want to get off the ride. I mean, I want to fucking get off the ride because I just think, why do I do this? It's the highs, it's the lows. You get tired of being high for a while and then low for a while. High for a while, low for a while. And it's just, you make terrible decisions, rash decisions, impulsive decisions, decisions that can affect not just your life, but everybody's life around you. And it's not that we want to be selfish, it's just that for me, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. There was a time that I felt would run into things. If I would run into something and get that pain, it would take away the other pain. It would take away the voices. It would take away the bad thoughts. Okay? And like I was saying, or I was going from person to person and trying to have a relationship because I thought that was love. I was trying to fill the void. And you just get yourself taken advantage of and you just feel like some type of dirty little whore. Eventually, I'm just going to put it out there like that. But people are cruel. There are people who will see that you have an issue and they will exploit it. And they will, there's some of them will say, oh, I would never do that. Oh, I'll be there for you. They're fucking lying to you. Okay? They are seeing you as a weak person, and they're seeing that they can manipulate you. And they will throw you under the bus when it's convenient. And what happens to a person that's bipolar, when you throw us under the bus, all that does is make us go deeper into that rabbit hole. We just get deeper and deeper into the darkness. Doesn't mean that we don't love God. Doesn't mean that we don't like you or love you. It just means that the fact that things get so overwhelming for us, you know, and that we just can't see any way out but to take ourselves out. And that's very, very sad. But that's how it is. I mean, there's times that I am doing things or working, and my head is just, I mean, things that are going through my head like, why do this? Just walk out in front of that car and be done with it, you know? Go smack that police officer upside the head and then act like you're going to stab him or her and you know they'll shoot you. I mean, these are things that literally go through bipolar people's head. When we can't sleep at night and the voices are going and you just want to be normal if there's any such thing as normal. That's all we want to do. And believe me, there's people that you're working with that have this disorder that you don't even know. Because we know that there's a stigma that comes with it. We know that a lot of people don't understand it. And we know that people would judge us. And, you know, people judge anyway, but people really love to judge people that have issues. We become invisible. Just like if somebody was in a wheelchair with a disorder. Instead of saying hello to that person, they're invisible, you don't see them. And that's what people tend to do to people with mental illnesses. If we don't see them. If it's not in our backyard, then we don't have to deal with it. And that's very sad, very sad. Even healthcare doesn't cover mental illness very long. But if you're an alcoholic or a drug addict, oh, we'll take care of you. But if you have a mental disorder, no, they don't take care of you very long. They kick you out. That's why you see so many people with mental disorders in the freaking street. And that's sad. But when you are living with someone with bipolar disorder or disease who have just tried to hurt themselves or kill themselves and they've survived it, it's a long road to recovery. But I want you to know if they cut their wrist or if they took medication or something like that and they did leave a note, that's a real cry out for help. That is the warning flare of what's to come. I'm going to say that again. If they just cut their wrist and they cut it the wrong way, or they just took pills with alcohol and they made sure that someone would find them or something like that, that is the cry for help. Because after that, when the impulses kick in, there is nothing you can do. So get them that help immediately, because if you don't, the real suicide attempt is coming. And once we're gone, we're gone. And the few of the real ones I had, it's by the grace of God that I survived them. But it's not been every second of the day, even if I'm smiling, if I'm making jokes, if I'm opening a business, if I'm working on a client, these things still go through my head. But I get the self-satisfaction of helping people in the business that I do at this particular juncture. But I just want to put it out there because there's so many people with bipolar disease suffering and hiding their disease, which is compounding the issue. There are so many spouses and friends and family members with someone in their household that has this disorder, and you're at a loss, you're helpless. You're there, you're doing everything that you can do, but I'm just wanting to make sure you have these bullet points. Do not treat us fragile. Do not downplay something that we do, because that's important. That's our way of showing we appreciate you staying there, supporting us. Do not downplay things that we do for you. Do not tell us to hang in there. Do not tell us that things are going to be better tomorrow. Those things are counterproductive. Believe me, they are counterproductive. Just be there. That's the best thing you can do, is be there. Because when you try to fix us, you're gonna fuck us up. You cannot fix us. You hear me? You cannot fix us. You can support us, but you can't fix us. And if you cannot deal with someone that has this disorder, get away from them. And remember, it is not your fault if we take our life. It is not your fault. We have so much going on. So much going on. Insomnia, oversexed, eating disorder, not eating, up all night, sleeping all day. I can go on and on. Thinking of having homicidal tendencies, thinking about killing people, thinking about killing yourself, hearing voices, frequencies, noises that nobody else hears but we hear. So I'm saying that don't blame yourself, and don't be standing over our coffin saying, because when a funeral, have you ever been to a funeral of someone who's committed suicide? You know what, people, everybody's quiet, and everybody's like, because everybody knows what's going on, but no one is loving. No one's loving because most of the time people are like, well, I don't know why they did that. They should have got some help. Or people say, I didn't know. Yeah, you did. The signs were there. You just chose not to see them. It was better for you to look the other way. So, with that being said, I hope that I have given family members or someone else out there with bipolar, you're not alone. You can send me a text or a message on my YouTube channel. We're in this together. And if you have some coping skill that I don't know about that might help, or if I have a coping skill that may help you, by all means, utilize them and share those. And like I said, I find that when you're bipolar, you have to find something to distract yourself. So learning a new language, exercising to the point where you maybe get into competitive bodybuilding or powerlifting shows, painting. Find something that distracts your mind from all these other things. Be active, because if you're idle, it's the worst thing you can do if you're bipolar, is to be by yourself, to isolate. Don't do it. So thank you so much for listening to this. This has been at Fitness Beyond 50, saying have a blessed day.